Welcome back. Welcome back. Y'all already know this is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Markman. We're going to get into it today. Drake, Mob Ties reference leaked with Vory doing the vocals. Before we even get into all that, just as I'm building this channel, building this conversation with y'all, looking at the different options that YouTube has to offer, let me know if y'all be interested in doing memberships, right? Like a members only live chat or something, a members only live stream or something like that. Again, I'm just super impressed by what's happening here. I love that I do these videos and then we have conversations in the comments. Like obviously there's you're starting to see a little bit of the trolls creeping in the longer I go, but mostly, man, it's a lot of the same people coming back. Like we're having the same conversation. Somebody had told me in the comments, and my bad, I forgot whose name it was, but they were like, hey, as this channel gets bigger, please don't stop responding in the comments, because that's what sets me apart. I don't know what anybody else does, but that feels natural to me, so I'm gonna keep doing that. But I was thinking about, I saw YouTube had this memberships option. I was thinking of starting a membership group, just trying to figure it out, doing maybe live streams only, like just for us, and still regular content for everybody. Everybody can join, but maybe something a little special for members. So let me know if y'all into that. But Montage reference leak today. Vory is doing the vocals. Flow was the same. Lyrics were switched up a bit. It wasn't exactly like a one for one, but it was a reference track for sure. Mob Ties was on Scorpion, which came right after the Pusha T battle, the story of Adidon, the W freestyle. Mob Ties was on side A. It was one of those records, those aggressive records where post battle we got this really aggressive side of Drake. And it's a fan favorite for sure, right? So a lot of people are talking about this reference track. Vory was credited on the record. Let's be real. So this isn't a ghostwriting situation. His name is on it. T. Hollins Jr. is Vory. So this isn't ghostwriting. This if you looked at the credits, you could probably figured out that there was some contribution that Vory had to it. Also, another reference from that same album, Ratchet Happy Birthday, with Party Next Door doing the vocals leak. He's also credited on that record. So this isn't a ghostwriting situation. We got to be very clear and factual about what we're talking about. These aren't like hidden credits or hidden writers. These are credited writers. About a month ago, we talked about it on this channel. Jumbotron shit popping reference leak with Yachty doing the vocals. I also told y'all before, I heard the Back Outside Boys reference with Lil Yachty. I actually ended up getting my hands on that. Somebody sent it to me, but I heard that reference. Yachty was credited. If you go back to even Quentin Miller, he was credited. 10 Bands, Legend, Know Yourself, though. And I made this mistake, and I spoke about this in the Jumbotron shit popping video, and somebody corrected me, and I knew it. Sometimes I do this thing, and fact checking is important. Knowing what you're talking about is important. Sometimes I misspeak, but somebody reminded me that Quentin wasn't originally credited on Meek Mill's Rico, which Drake was on, and then there was also the reference of Quentin doing the Rico verse. So wasn't credited there, but for the most part, when we're talking about Drake and these writers, they're credits to back it up, right? At this point, and you gotta think about it, we're going back to 2015 when the Quentin Miller thing happened. At this point, so it's almost 10 years. So at this point, we could talk around this in circles. We could have this conversation over and over again. We could have this debate over and over again, and there's no end to it. It really boils down to you as a fan. It boils down to me as a fan. It boils down to what do you value in music. As a fan of rap, okay, as a fan of rappers, as a fan of MCs, people who like put words together, metaphors, similes, storytelling. As an artist myself, writing your own raps matters to me. It's important to me. I enjoy great pen work. I admire it, and it's even more impressive. Just great pen work in general, great songwriting in general is really impressive to me, and it's even more impressive to me if it isn't done by committee, right? But this isn't the case, and I know a lot of people talk about, well, Michael Jackson, has writers. Beyonce has writers. To me, it just is different in rap. To me, and because you're writing about your experience, and it feels so deeply personal. But two things could be true, right? Rap could have grown and evolved. Definitely in the '80s and '90s, maybe that was more true. But we had writers back then too. There were writers on Rapper's Delight, The Message, which is a big record. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and Melly Mel is rapping those verses. Duke Booty wrote on most of that record, so it wasn't Melly Mel was spitting somebody else's raps. I think Melly's verse, "A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind." That was Melly's verse. The rest of the verses, "The broken glass everywhere," that was all Duke Booty's pen and Melly's. And I know I'm going over a lot of y'all heads, but I'm saying, like, we can't be infactual. Like, there have been writers since the beginning of hip hop. So, I know a lot of this. When I say what I value, what I'm a fan of, I'm speaking truthfully, but it also might be a romanticized version. Ice Cube was writing a lot of the raps in the NWA, specifically for Easy and Dre. MC Ren wrote his own raps. So, there have been writers this whole time, but as a fan, for me, man, I love it. It really, it gets even more impressive when it's like, oh, you wrote that? You? Yo, the way you put those words together, like, still enjoyable. I could still be a fan, but it's just way more impressive to me. It means more to me if you're writing your own raps. That's just me. Now, and again, you may feel different as a fan. Like, it goes down to what you value. Now, when we talk about Drake, we've known this since 2015, and it hasn't stopped the success. It hasn't stopped people from loving his music. It hasn't stopped me from loving his music. I actually was looking online today, and I did a video when I was at MTV when we first found out about the Quentin Miller thing. So that was maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And, I remember what my reaction was then. But it still hasn't stopped me from fucking with Drake's music. You know what I'm saying? Like, who makes great music? Now, the question is, and there's a real question, after the Kendrick battle, does the perception of Drake shift? And there's a lot of that happening in the moment. People in the moment right now, fans in the moment, seem to be over Drake because we just came off of this battle. There was a time when Drake, it just seemed like he couldn't do no wrong. Now it seems like maybe he can't do right by people. We'll see if this is just a phase or if it sticks. The one thing I believe in this industry is that a hit is a cure-all for everything. You've seen rappers at weird points in their careers and come back with the right record. And let's be real, and I know I'm talking to the audience, I know I'm talking to the fans, but fans are fickle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people are dunking on Drake now because it's the cool thing to do. It's the meme thing to do. If I even more so than ever, if I tweet something negative about Drake, or it'll get more likes or get more shares, it gets more engagement. Like, that's just kind of what it is. Sometimes people are coming even with harder opinions than they normally would have because it gets us the engagement. The engagement feels good. It's like a dopamine hit. So it's for me, like, again, I'm talking about what I value and what gets me excited about my favorite rappers is them writing their own stuff. But I don't feel that strongly about it to, like, cancel Drake because he doesn't write his own stuff. If he come with a song I like, it's a song that I like. And again, I do enjoy his music. Now, but I'm just kind of over it. Like, we've been having this debate since 2015, and we've been talking in circles. So, but it'll be interesting post this Kendrick battle if things actually change for sure, if we're just in the phase. Because the other thing is the guy has an unprecedented run from 2009 until now. It's very rare that you see a run this long, this dominant. It might be also that it's not really the ghostwriting thing. It might not be the Kendrick thing. It might be that people are just, like, maybe fatigued of just being super exposed to Drake for so many years, and they latch on to the Kendrick thing as a reason, because now you need a reason to hate or don't like, or you latch on to the ghostwriting thing. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's the case. That could be a possibility. But I like the music. Like I can't front. Like I'll go back in time. It'll be 20 years from now. I'd be like, damn, remember when he dropped this? Remember where you was when this came out? Remember how this made you feel? I enjoy his music. I think he's one of the best hip hop artists that we ever seen. So was Kanye. So was Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre has classics he didn't write. The way it was explained to me by someone who I won't reveal, but who has been in the studio with Kanye, like a key figure, is that Ye could write a rap. Ye will write himself. If you sit there with Kanye by himself, he'll write a verse. But he enjoys pulling other writers in to pick that verse apart. It's almost like it was one time described to me like a writer's room on a TV show or like SNL, how everybody's contributing a little something so you get the best thing to make sure that every line hits. So some people are just collaborative in that way. Now, in Drake in his 2019 Rap Radar interview, he says, and this is according to him, and this was in 2019, so take it for what you will, he's not collaborating with anyone on those timestamp records. So 6 p.m. in Toronto, 4 p.m. in Calabasas, like those like rap records, no hook, just straight stream of consciousness thought. According to him, he's not collaborating with any writers on those records. Or he says specifically in that interview, or Marvin's Room was like his two examples. Who knows? I haven't heard references for that, but I've heard so many references. Like who knows? Like if I heard that, I can't say I would be surprised. And those are like my favorite Drake records, just those rap records, those stream of conscious records. Again, because I'm a rap fan, so it would be shocking to hear those. But I can't speak for him. I'm not in the room with him, so I wouldn't be surprised. My expectations in general is no longer for him to write everything, right? And we often talk about the influence. Some of us do those, like if talk about the influence like Fonte and Little Brother. Shout out to Big Pooh. Fonte and Little Brother had on Drake, like that early influences. Drake has before talked about the influence that Joe Budden has had on him in that same Rap Radar interview and other points. But Drake, to me, doesn't have a desire to have a Little Brother type career, and there's no slight to Little Brother, but this is very well regarded, very well respected, but very influential, but underground artists, right? Like they don't sell on the level like we hear Drake rapping about competing with Michael Jackson, chasing Michael Jackson's records. You don't get that in the studio with a pen and a pad alone, just you alone with your pen and a pad. Like he's chasing something different. When I think about the illest pens in the game, I think about Black Thought. I think about Royce the 5'9". I think Daylight got an ill pen. Sci-Hi the Prince, Fonte, like I said, King Los has an ill pen when he writes, because a lot of that is freestyle too. Jadakiss, Styles P, like you know what I'm getting at, right? But more often than not, the illest pen isn't always the most popular guy on the charts, isn't the guy who could sell out arenas, isn't the guy or the girl who could go on these worldwide tours and compete against Michael Jackson and the Beatles records, right? It happens. We have our Jay-Z's, we have our Eminems, Kendricks, Coles, T.I. I put Tip in that category. There's a lot, but more often than not, the illest guys, the illest pens, the illest rappers, I keep saying guys, but women too, but the illest aren't the most popular. And, I think Drake has a desire to be ill. Like he knows what that lineage is. You could hear it when you listen to his rap records, but he also wants to be the biggest, the most popular. Drake has no desire to be underground. I also put Lil Wayne in that category that I previously mentioned. Now, I also know that there's been like allegations of Wayne having writers before the whole Gilly the Kid thing. Like, again, I got to really see it. I know the rumors I heard, but I'm like, I got to really see proof for that. But yeah, so when I start talking about the illest spitters, the illest rappers, the illest MCs, the illest pens, Drake won't be on my list, right? With the guys that I mentioned before. But, when I talk about overall artists, overall hip hop music, overall movements, overall, just like it's undeniable. He's one of the greatest artists that we've ever seen. Now, also can't discount that he's written for others. Beyonce, Alicia Keys. I don't know if there's any rappers that he's written for, and there might be. If I'm missing some, please remind me. Y'all would do well to remind me. But for me, I could kind of separate the two. I'm not so hell bent on him writing anything to enjoy the music anymore. Now, if the argument is, well, he can't make the list of the illest rappers, and he won't make mine in that regard, that's cool. But I'm not having those debates 24/7. Like, I'm always gonna live with the music. I'm kind of over it, man. Like, I'm not, because we just have this debate back and forth, and it really just boils down to you and what you value. But those are just my thoughts, man. To me, it ain't really big news anymore. I'm not surprised. I'm not here shocked. I'm not gonna do the shocked face thumbnail or nothing like that, man. But just definitely something to talk about. Definitely something interesting, and we know what it is. We knew what it was for years. As a fan of him and his music, I made my peace with that. That we gonna hear references and stuff like that. But overall, the music is still pretty strong, pretty powerful, pretty great, amazing run. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, all of that, and let me know about that memberships thing, man. If y'all down, I might try that out, man, and we might figure out just like some special things to do with a small group of us. But until the next time, and yo, I'm still coming. I got thoughts on the new Vince Staples album that is still dropping this week. I promise you. All right. Well, until next time, peace.